You know, when you hear the name Nikola Tesla today, your first thought is probably a car, right? But the man behind the name was this incredible visionary, an inventor who imagined a future powered in ways we're still, over a century later, just trying to wrap our heads around. So let's just dive right into the world he saw.
And look, he lays out his life's work right here with these words. For Tesla, you gotta understand, this wasn't just about making a better light bulb or something small like that. No. This was about plugging humanity's machinery directly into the fundamental energy of the universe itself, the very wheelwork of nature.
So yeah, that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How did he dream up this wireless world? I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie even now. But for Tesla, he saw it as an imminent reality, all based on a completely radical new way of looking at electricity.
Okay, so to really get what Tesla was up to, we have to talk about the kind of electricity he was playing with. Because, let me tell you, it was not your standard wall socket variety. He was pushing it to its absolute limits, and in doing so, he unlocked a whole new kind of force.
So back in his day, everything ran on direct current, DC. Super simple. Think of it like a river, just a steady, calm flow in one direction. But Tesla, he was obsessed with something totally different, alternating current, or AC. This stuff is more like a powerful wave, vibrating back and forth. And his whole thing was, how fast can I make that wave vibrate?
And that question brings us to his first secret ingredient, high frequency. And look, we're not talking about the 60 times a second that's in your outlets right now. Tesla was building machines that could make electricity vibrate hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of times every single second. And when you do that, well, electricity starts to act in really, really weird and wonderful ways.
All right, so ingredient number 2 was high potential. We just call it voltage, but think of it like electrical pressure. Tesla wasn't just turning it up a little, he was cranking this pressure up to hundreds of thousands of volts. And with that kind of pressure, you get these powerful electrostatic fields that can literally reach out and touch the world around them. It's like he was freeing electricity from its cage, from the wire.
So here's the magic sauce. It's not just one or the other. It was the combination of these two extremes, this incredibly fast vibration and this insane pressure, that was his secret. That combo unlocked a whole new playbook for physics, stuff that just completely blew the minds of everyone else at the time.
Okay, so now that we have the theory, let's look at the incredible results. This is where it gets really fun. Tesla wasn't just doodling in a notebook. He was putting on a show, creating actual light and wonder in his lab.
And his whole theory was so elegant. You know how a normal light bulb works, right? You heat a tiny wire till it glows. Tesla thought, well, that's kind of inefficient. What if you could just skip the wire? What if you could just shake the atoms in a gas so violently with an electric field that they just light up on their own?
And boom, here's the proof of concept. This is a diagram right from his notes. You've got this little button of material inside a vacuum, and it's getting hit with a high-frequency field. It's not burning, there's no filament, it's just glowing like crazy because its own molecules are being shaken into a frenzy by pure invisible energy.
So this idea led to one of his first huge inventions. Think about it. Up to this point, every electrical device needed two wires. You needed a complete circle for the current to flow. Tesla just tossed that rule right out the window. He started making lamps that only needed one wire. And the design itself was just a total game changer. You connect one single terminal to his crazy high-frequency, high-voltage source, and the powerful field it creates is enough to make the lamp glow. No return path needed. It's wild.
Naturally, this leads to the next big question, right? If one wire works, what about no wires at all?
And this right here was probably his most legendary demonstration. He would literally energize his entire lab, filling the room with an invisible field of high-frequency energy. And then he'd just walk in, holding these glass tubes in his bare hands, and bam, they'd burst into light. No connection whatsoever, just pure, honest-to-goodness wireless power.
So after lighting up a room without wires, where does a mind like Tesla's go next? It makes the ultimate leap. Why stop at one room? Why not power the entire planet?
And you have to realize his vision was so much bigger than just power. As early as 1892, he was saying that these same principles could be used for, and I'm quoting here, transmitting intelligence to a distance without wires. He was basically describing radio, the internet, everything, decades before anyone else was even close.
So here it is, the big one, the master plan. Step 1.
Use the Earth itself as a giant electrical conductor. Step 2. Pump massive electrical vibrations through the ground and up into the atmosphere, and then any device anywhere in the world could just tune in and draw that power down, just like tuning a radio. Power wouldn't need to be sent from point A to point B anymore. It would just be there, everywhere, for everyone.
And don't think for a second this was some kind of maybe someday fantasy for him. He wrote with total conviction that this wasn't just a possibility, it was a future that was right around the corner. He was sure it was going to happen.
But to really truly get Tesla, you have to look deeper than the technology. For him, this wasn't just about engineering, it was a philosophy. Almost a spiritual mission, really, to connect all of humanity to the universe.
And this photo, wow, this is from his lab. These are the actual tools he built to explore those forces. These crazy-looking coils and jars, they weren't just machines. They were his instruments for listening to the music of the cosmos.
He genuinely believed this was the key to unlocking the next stage of human evolution. I mean, think about it. If we could tap into this infinite energy source all around us, what would happen? Our fights over resources would just disappear. He believed humanity would finally be able to advance with giant strides.
You know, in the end, I think what really drove him was that sense of pure wonder. It wasn't about the money or even just the fame of inventing. It was the supreme delight, as he put it, of just thinking about these magnificent possibilities, of humanity working in tune with nature.
And that brings us right back to right now, to today. You look at your wireless phone charger, you connect to Wi-Fi, you read about scientists trained to harvest ambient energy, and you just have to ask yourself, are we just now, a century later, finally starting to turn that same great wheel? Are we only just beginning to catch up to the future that Nikola Tesla imagined for us